Really great to see the masses. I can actually see you a little bit here, so I'm just below the radar, I guess. I'm Anna Reinches. I'm one of our customer success managers, and today I have the benefit of having a little interview with our lovely client. So please welcome Andrea Uribari. She's the head of digital experience platforms in BBVA. We have Katrin Röbu. I hope I pronounced it more or less right. She's the product owner of marketing automation at KVIK. And then we have Mitch Wright. He's the senior marketing automation and technology manager at ImmoScout24. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you.
So today the topic is the elevating experiences, which we are happy to show you from the different perspectives of these wonderful brands. All of these brands have considered purchase journeys, but all from a very different point of view. And that's something that we're going to be drilling down today a little bit, without forgetting the most important, the consent. Are we allowed to do the interactions that we want to do so that the moments will actually matter with our clients? And that's what we're going to be discussing today. So let's kick off with what kind of strategies have you implemented to collect and leverage first-party data to create this kind of experiences? I'll hand it over first to Andrea to kickstart this.
Okay, so I'm going to introduce BBVA.
Yes.
BBVA is a multinational company with the highest footprint in Spain and Latam, 130 years old, so it's a big footprint, 120,000 employees. So it's been a very long journey to get here. So as a fin service industry, we have so much data. So as soon as a customer becomes a customer, we have all the API data, we have the email, we have the phone, we have everything that we need. But it is so important that we're going to go all over again the consent to get in that data so that we can use it. So I think Andrea said it very well. It's not only about the technology and about getting that information ready, but getting that consent. So as long as you get that consent, then you can use it. But then the maturity of the teams that will use that data is what you have to be very specific on. So if you have those maturity teams, like analysts, using that data, then you're gonna spread all across the company the data in terms of analytics, in terms of personalization, in terms of ad targeting. So again, consent and usage of that data very effectively.
Indeed. Mitch, how it is in your company? What kind of strategies have you taken into utilization of the...
Yeah, so ImmoScout, for those of you who don't know, is Germany's biggest real estate platform. We have website, apps, B2B, B2C. And yeah, again, consent is the big thing, right? We have our CMP connected up to all our different channels and systems, like our CDP, our engagement platform, Meta and Facebook. But then with collecting the data, we like login, registration user data is very important. We also have different funnels, so a finance funnel, relocation, different memberships. All this information that we collect throughout all of the different funnels, we kind of use in different ways as well. So this is providing a unique customer experience.
Indeed. And then for Katrin, all those lengthier cycles with you, how is that impacting your strategy around first-party data?
Yeah, so usually we in KVIK sell kitchens, and in average in Denmark, you take about 13 years to buy a new kitchen. So the customer journey can be incredibly long, but when you actually get to the moment where you've decided that now is the time for upgrading or getting a new kitchen, then that customer journey is actually quite short. So in Denmark, it could be 2 months. So when the customer is there, we really need to be present and give that customer a good experience, because going out and buying a kitchen is quite an emotional affair as well. So you don't just buy it based, of course you have a budget, but when you go out and you touch it, you feel it, you see it, and you kind of imagine how that's going to be the main space in your home. So it's related to a lot of emotions. And for us to actually then give that good experience to our customers, then we need the permission. So for us as well, it's been incredibly important that we have integrated a permission strategy throughout the entire company, and that's going to be the one driving the data that we get in, and that we can actually then leverage down to our stores as well.
Yeah. How about in Andrea, in your case? I would imagine that in your industry, the consent is very, very crucial. So how do you create that kind of value exchange between you and the client so that they actually give the consent to target them?
Well, for us, the life cycle is different. We have such a wide variety of products. On average, a customer gets one product, financial product, every year. So that moment where we're getting the right message, it's like an exam for us. So now that we're seeing all these consents and how we want to make sure that we have them telling us that, yes, we're okay to follow us across the user behavior on a digital channel, we started planning these banners to make sure that now that everything has changed, they accept all, reject all cookies. We started this huge battle with DPOs, legal departments, on how to put that message the right way so that it's transparent, but at the same time, it's easy to understand. So one of our key success was to put design teams in the middle of that strategy to make sure that we ended up with this set of banners that will help us drive that acceptance rate very high. So what we did is A/B tests to test all those banners. And in the end, what we did is we ended up with this one banner that drives that acceptance rate. So that was a big thing for us.
Yeah, definitely. In Mitch, your case also, you provide a very vast portfolio of different kind of services. How does one consent apply to all, or does it?
Yeah, so with our banner as well, we have all the different services, the different tools, the options available for a user to opt in or out of. So we too find it very important to kind of tweak this banner, I guess. With this, if someone's working through a finance funnel, for example, we're able to track this and then create a unique experience through like service tiles. So once we have the consent for one product, I guess it is all tied together, right? Because someone will usually opt in for all of them. But yeah, we also have a personalized search experience. So when a user logs in, they create their first search looking for a dream property. We send them recommendations for this, and that would be kind of what they get back for registering for this account.
Yeah, indeed. And for Catherine, what is the value creation and what kind of data are you gathering?
So we gather all the sort of personal information as well. And in our case, it's the customer may come in one of our digital channels and then actually move down to our physical store. So we're retail based. So that meeting where we may meet the customer online, that information is really important to pass on down to the stores so that our sales consultants and kitchen designers actually know what the customer likes and what they're interested in. So we really need that consent from the start, and it's very important for us as well that we communicate why we collect the information. And also, if you go down and actually get to the point where you're ready to buy a kitchen, then it's a lot of money you put down, it's a big sort of purchase that you go out and do. So we also want to make sure that our customers feel sort of secure and safe in the choice that they make. So creating, for example, a customer platform where they can sort of follow along in the process. So now you said, yes, I want to buy a kitchen. What does that actually mean? How many things do I need to consider? And when is it ordered? When is it coming? Who's going to come and install it in our house? So there's so many different things in that buying process where for us it's very important to have the permission so we can actually give our customers the good experience and make them feel secure in the choice they've made.
Indeed. And what kind of insights, Catherine, you actually do when you are, like what kind of insights you could give to us in terms of when you have done that kind of personalization initiatives to actually target these individuals? How do you see that?
Yeah, so we collect a lot of information when the customer sort of comes in, and for us, the customer, as I mentioned, may come in digitally, but we send them down to the store, so all the information that we can gather online and collect that into a profile, that's really important for us to send down to the stores. So what we say in KVIK is that the meeting between the salesperson and the customer is the most important meeting in the customer journey, because that's a physical meeting where you go down and actually connect that sort of real relationship to each other and go down and meet. So in the digital part, we need to collect all the data that we have, and we need to give all that data down to the store, so we're sure that as a customer, when you come in and experience KVIK, then you don't just see KVIK online or KVIK down in the stores, but you feel that it's one journey and one company that you go in and meet.
Yeah. And how is it in Mitch on your side? What kind of improvements have you basically gained by doing things more first-party data?
We've really broken down our silos. Inside our company, it was very product-based, and each team worked in their own little silo, doing their own little thing, and then a lot of the time with the messages they sent were crossed over. Well, they're sent by multiple teams, right? So we found that a lot of the time our users were overwhelmed with the amount of emails, for example, that we receive. So by collecting this data and being a bit more strategic, I guess, we've broken down the silos and we've moved away from the product focus to a more user-centric focus.
Yeah, indeed. And in Andrea, in your case, I would imagine that you would have had similar kind of challenges to begin with the vast portfolio.
Yeah, absolutely. So what we did in our last strategic life cycle, so the last 5 years, we added this new value proposition to our customers that we moved from we want to push like products to being more like an advisor for our customers. So our main objective was to increase the financial health of every customer so that we will help them make the best decisions around the financial needs. So that twist was really an impact on customers, and that gave us a big key differentiator with the rest of our competitors, let's say. So what we've seen is that we started building, we put a lot of focus on building tools so that when the customers will enter the digital banking, they will have those messages and places in the app that they could understand investment or products that maybe they're more hard to understand. So what we've seen after 5 years is that half of our customers have access to those tools. And what we've seen is that that's around 4 million customers. What we've seen in the end is 1, they have higher savings in their account. 2, they have more products with us. And 3, that the NPS score gets higher, so they are happier customers. So for us, that's a way, again, going back to what Andres said, it's more experience-based versus get a credit card, get an investment loan, get blah, 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 more this is the money you have, this is what you could do with your money, And that change was really differentiated from using that first-party data, but we know so much about the customers. We know how much they spend, where, what, when, why. So it's very key that we know how to use it.
Yeah. And I would imagine that the real-timeness actually plays a big part of that. So do you have any concrete examples of, a short example of how you are leveraging real-party data?
Yeah, so as soon as some money gets into the account, 10,000 euros all of a sudden, then they will be oh, you have some money, let's put that to work. So it will be click, 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 and then you get that investment fund, So it's really important but sometimes we have to make sure that real time, it does matter because sometimes that money comes into the account and that leaves. And then you get the message and you're no, that money is no longer in my account because I got this money for something and it's gone. So that real time, it's really where we have to go because it's a thing.
Yeah, to know the signals of when to act and when not to act. Sometimes something is good to postpone a little bit in your scenario, for instance, because you know the other attributes around that individual.
Correct.
How is it in KVIK side? How does real time play parts in the customer experience?
Yeah, so it's really important for us. As I mentioned that, for example, in Denmark, it can take 2 months to decide that you want a new kitchen till you've actually bought it. But if you go to one of our other markets, then it could take 2 years. So how do we create actually customer journeys that can match that one? And we can't do that. And that's where real-time data comes in, because that's the thing that's going to decide the next step in the customer journey. So we have an example, for example, saying you go to our website and you look at one of our kitchens, and then you're really interested in a specific model in a specific color. And then that kind of tells us, okay, you're kind of interested in this one here. But if we are then going to communicate that to you and show it to you, then it would be a really mismatch if we then show you a blue kitchen, but you looked at a beige kitchen, then that would be kind of a mix or a bad experience with us. So for us, it's been really important to collect that data and say, well, you're kind of interested in this one here, in this product, and then we want to show more of it. So if you go on Meta, for example, then in our retargeting flow, we pull that data from the website through Telium, through Audience Stream, and then out into the different channels. So of course, if you look at a beige kitchen, that's what you're going to see. And the same thing goes for our other channels. So if you're interested in learning more, then that's what we are going to send inspiration about in our newsletter. It could be our lookbook, or it could just be audiences online showing sort of an interest in looking a lot around. They're really engaged. They show a lot of interest in our stores, and they show a lot of interest in our designs. Then we're going to try to do some on-site personalization and push them to book a meeting, which in our case is really important, because if you have that meeting, then you go down to the stores and then you talk to our salespeople, and that's where the real magic happens. So it's all about using the digital tools we have to deliver the customers the best possible experience.
Yeah, and that sounds like a lot of touch points, meaning a lot of data. So what kind of challenges have you faced in collecting the real-time data, and how have you tackled them?
So for us, it's been, you mentioned silos internally, so the same for us. So we may have one truth in our marketing automation system in terms of permissions, for example, and then our CRM system would hold another truth. So for us internally in KVIK, it's been a really big project to make sure that the data is aligned across all the different systems. And that's kind of where Telium comes into place as well, because that's putting all the data in there and then distributing that out to the different channels. But it's going to be an ongoing project, and it's not something we're going to solve overnight. So it takes a lot of time to actually go in and make sure that the data that you use and the data we use to communicate to our customers is right, because the timing of the content and the communication we send is so important for the next step in the customer journey.
Yeah. I would imagine that, Mitch, in your case, because there is a variety of different services you provide, there's a lot of people also involved with this. Does it resonate what Catherine was saying about the organizational alignment as well?
Yeah, especially being in the silos, the biggest hurdle, I guess, or challenge we had was politics. It was getting our kind of goals, our initiatives over the line, and showing the different product teams how this can benefit everyone and just not their silo. So a lot of them came to us saying, oh, we want business cases, we want numbers, we want estimations. And for each product, this is crazy. So what we kind of did was we found one team that was open to it, they were fast workers, it was very agile, and we could kind of run a little POC with them. So once we showed the potential of this, then the other teams came on. So it was over the space of a couple of years, but yeah, made a big difference.
Yeah, and Andrea, in your case, how did you manage the teams also with the very tight governmental aspect to the business?
Yeah, same things, but in our case, like digital physical channels and also paid media channels are not connected between them. We do have few use cases where, like, we have real time. Like, for example, a user fills a form on the website and we're really quick on that because they're asking for a specific product, and that would be like a hot lead for a sales rep. So that would be like really fast. That's the ones that the reps wants to target to because they know it's the customer asking us something specifically, right? The thing is that the challenge is that every channel has its own strategy around customer interaction, which is good because it's about the frequency. We talk about the frequency, and I like the email, but it's some customers access the app 20 times per month, but you might not go to a branch in a year. So you have to, the interaction and the strategy has to be different, but you have to understand it has to be a customer-based strategy instead of a channel-based. So saturation, for example, is something that we're working on. What's the saturation on emails? What's the saturations on a personalization banner once you access the website or the app? Because some people will access 3 times per day, but others will access once. So that really matters. Like it's very important. So again, we're working on internal alignment onto how we get that unified single view of the customer per channel. Because as a bank, we can have a customer, but we can have a B2B employee that uses BBVA, but also he can be an investor, or he can be a subscriber on something that he's interested, because we create so much content around investors' analysis and so on. So it is really hard to get that one single view. So again, we have that one team also that we're going to start working towards that single customer view on working saturation per customer, per channel. So that's one of the things that we're going to start.
It sounds like the Center of Excellence is a really good place to start, because then you have that core team who will understand the technology and help to democratize the data throughout the organization, so that the others can benefit from the fruit of the labor and don't necessarily have to work in the platforms to deliver that. So that's I think was resonating also from the previous speeches, that there's a good to get the baseline correct with the right people. Then moving on a little bit to how to balance the personalized experience with the actual content in place. So Catherine, could you tell us a little bit about your point of view to this?
Yeah, of course. So for us, it's pretty simple. We need that consent before we do anything. And with all the rules and all the different things that come into play, it's just enhanced the importance for us to go in and have that permission strategy. That's not just marketing coming in and say, we really want the customers to give us their consent so we can send them marketing. No, that's not what it's about. It's about giving all the customers, and it's not just the digital part. It's actually making sure that we get the consent to give the data down to the stores, and making sure that our customers feel it's a unified experience, rather than just having seen something online and then they go down to the store and then the salesperson may do something completely different. So it's just important for us that we collect the permissions, and then that's integrated in the whole business, not just marketing.
Yeah, I would imagine that there's a fine balance of what is great service and what can be a little bit creepy.
Yeah.
So I think that's definitely something that you guys can see in your business. That is an important one. How is it in ImmoScout?
Yeah, it's also the same. It's
Yeah.
also the customer comes first, right? Or the user comes first. It's the consent banner is the very first thing they see when they come onto the website or even in the app. Every time we make a change to this, if it's any of their services, if it's wording, if it's organization, anything like this, the banner's displayed again. After, I think, 7 or 14 days, the banner's displayed. So we make sure that we're fully transparent and we're always kind of explaining explaining what's going on, what's changed, what services are in use. We've added a new service. Now your data's going here. Can we use it here? So it all comes down to how the banner's set up and the organization around this.
Yeah, that's actually a really good point. I think Mike was pointing out to that as well, that you don't have to accept it that once the consent was not given. There's other points as well where you can re-ask it and create a new value proposition. So it seems like you guys are doing that very well.
Hopefully.
Yeah, that's amazing. Maybe back to Andrea. How do you actually measure the success of the and different kind of initiatives that you have around first-party data, and what metrics do you actually prioritize?
Okay, so we have 3 key priorities right now. 2 financial priorities and 1 non-financial. The financial ones are sustainability. I think it's something that is really resonating on everyone, and it has to be a strategy that comes top down, because we are a bank, so how is it sustainable? How a bank is sustainable? But it's not about being sustainable, but financing those sustainable projects. But at the same time, we want to offer our customers sustainability products like an eco car or windows, so that you don't lose any energy and those type of things. So when creating those audiences, we were discussing the other day, how do you create an audience to impact with a campaign about sustainability? So that data that we capture, again, we know how much you spend on electricity, we know how much you spend on fuel and those things. So using that data, first-party data, and creating those models is the one that came with these audiences. And we're really on target. We're really happy. We're really making an impact on that vertical at BBVA. The second one is acquisition. We have to acquire 1 million customers this year. We are on target. We're doing good. But again, it's 50 million people in Spain. So how do you get 1 million how do you convince 1 million people to come to BBVA, right? So it's about showing how much we can do for them when we do the targeting, when we do all of that. But also it's important that it's acquisition, and the second one is cross-sell. So that's 0 to 6 months. It's very important that onboarding process, it's the best process that we can get, because what we've seen is that during that period of time is when customers acquired more products. So it's about cross-selling and about acquiring more customers. That's the second one. And the third one, which is a non-financial one, is the NPS, the Net Promoter Score, like satisfaction. But this, like in this new strategic cycle that starts next year, we're going to put a lot of effort on making sure, not putting the effort on the ones that are happy, but the ones that are not happy, because you have that feeling that you call the bank and no one picks up, and that feeling that I can't contact my bank is where we really, like those type of things that gets those lower rates on NPS is where we're going to put the effort and build all these tools to make sure that we don't have anyone not satisfied with us.
I really like the approach of listening to the not so satisfied people and doing that kind of like continuous development, because you probably know the great stuff that you do, and then there's those tiny little tweaks that make a big difference from other people also to feel the same way than the highest promoter scores and so on. The constantly iterating, and for that you need a lot of data to be able to do that. And the more you trust the data, the easier it is for you to make those decisions.
Yeah. Be quick.
And be quick, yeah, indeed. Mitch, how is in your side, if you're looking into measuring success, what would be the key metrics that you guys prioritize?
Yeah, for us, it depends on the team or the channel. So with our digital marketing teams and PPC, it's about our return on advertising spend or our conversion rate. With moving away or losing third-party cookies, it's very important that our match rate and our audience sizes that we have in Meta or Google remain similar to what we were achieving with the cookies. So that's where they would really focus on how it's looking in these digital marketing channels, and it's just like come in, convert through the finance funnel, relocation, list your property. Whereas with our CRM team, it's about kind of getting the user to go through this journey. I guess it's similar to kitchens, right? You're not going to buy a house every 3 years, but it's about achieving these little goals. So they set the milestones of being able to register and log in, and then update your user profile. Tell us what you're interested in. We have the on-site personalization to display different tiles depending on the services or products. We have the saved searches. So there's a lot that kind of comes in, which are these mini goals that we have. And then, of course, with emails and push, it's all about click rate and then the conversion rate.
Yeah, I like the approach of the mini goals. It resonates very much of the climbing the mountain thing that
Totally.
It's also easier to measure if you don't measure the whole extent of the journey that you can go with the client, but you have those moments where you're actually looking into how well did we do, what can we adjust, and how can we create that experience. Yeah, that's amazing. Hey, looking a little bit forward, what is KVIK the most excited about of the trends and opportunities coming up, and do you have any AI or machine learning initiatives going on?
So we're really interested. Now we've been hearing a bit about AI already today, so we're of course also looking into it, because that would be a massive help in sort of identifying customers, but also looking into how can that support us in our customer journey. So for us, it's very important that we in digital try and help throughout the entire journey. So we're not some remote part of the company that the stores see as something really foreign. It's something that we want to tap into and see if we can make sure that our entire customer journey, all the things we collect in digital, is something that we can then feed down into the store. So for us, it's looking into how we can tap more into digitalizing the entire customer journey and not taking over from our stores, because it is such an important part of our customer journey. Is going down and actually meeting the salesperson that's going to be sort of handling the entire project that you have, but for us to support our stores and give the most information that we can sort of provide them with. So if a customer are interested in all of our categories, so not just our kitchens, but our bath sets or our wardrobe, then of course the salespersons need to know that. So it's gathering all the data, getting it all into one system, and actually having one system that can handle all the information, and then that push that out into the different channels depending on what the customer sort of tells us with their cues. So it's just getting all the information, sending it down to the stores, and just making sure that our customers see that their experience with us as one, and not just browsing online, going down to the store, and then that's two completely separate experiences that you get, but that you meet KVIK either in the store for the first time, online, but that doesn't matter, because we know all the information about you, and we make sure that when you talk to one of our salespersons, then that's actually one experience.
Yeah, and I could imagine that in your case, it could be also interesting to explore the actual end results of like what materials are available and things like that, and utilize that in as a data set for providing the even more personalized experience, because obviously maybe some stores will have a variety of what they are providing. So that will be an interesting part for us to explore together going forward. How is it in the BBVA side? What is the most exciting thing that you're looking forward?
Well, we've been using AI for a long time, and by different teams, and that they target different channels. So again, when I was talking about the silos between channels, there is a lot of NBO, next best offer, in every channel that doesn't talk to each other. So, but at the same time, there is a lot of commercial intelligence from like teams that are creating those audiences. Like, I want an audience based on these rules, like people from 20 to 30, blah, 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 no? So what we are transitioning to start trusting what AI is throwing, like what's the input, like this customer has this propensity to get in this product, but at the same time, they compete at the channel level because there is commercial intelligence campaigns and AI campaigns. So we're building this technology that can at some point play with sometimes AI-based audiences versus commercial intelligence campaigns. And it's about trust. So it's about trusting that what AI needs to say is the right thing. But sometimes, as a bank, we want to put this product and we need to get to an objective. So we have to put that, we have to have sales reps and everyone selling that product. So it's about control groups and doing A/B testing and being like, okay, I'm going to test this versus I'm going to test that. And so it's internal alignment on how we want to use it. But also it's important that it's a top-down strategy, because it's a 130 years old company. So to transition to that way of doing marketing has to change, but it has to change top-down. Because if there is no way to no, it's going to be AI based, then we're going to be playing and fighting at the channel level all the time. And IT building those technologies that can have both type of audiences at the same time on the same place. So
yeah,
that's the challenge.
Sounds like the prioritization also of what insights to trust in which cases will be also a very incremental part of figuring out what will work for your business and what will be maybe something that you tried and then decided that this is not the place to apply certain things. So that's definitely a journey that most of us will embark as consumers or as the businesses. Mitch, in your case, any AI or machine learning initiatives that you're busy with, or any other future projects that you can give us a glimpse to?
Well, now that we have our user in the center of things and our central user profile, we're now implementing AI to kind of come up with a user score, a score for the different products that we have. So if someone's interested in finance or relocation or becoming a Plus member, they'll receive a different score. And then with this score, we're either going to add these users to suppression lists and not target them at all if it's very low, or even if it's very high. And then also nurture a little bit more. So I think this is one pretty exciting thing that's coming up for us. And we've also just implemented our MMM, so media mix modeling with our internal model for this that we've built. So interested to see how that goes.
I think there will be some really interesting results coming out of those tests, and we would be interested of hearing how you're doing things, because this is a fairly new topic to a lot of our clients. So there's definitely some benchmarks that we are looking for in terms of how people are doing. Thank you so much for today. It has been really great to hear about your how you built the trusted customer experiences. Thank you so much for taking the time. I think for me, the key parts are definitely like being on the right moment for the customers to create that kind of feeling of the marketplace where people know what you are actually there for and your preferences, with the aspect of the consent as well, honoring what they want to give you consent to, and not forgetting the re-ask the permissions when the value exchange becomes perhaps in the right level, when the customer feels comfortable of bringing that data into board and then doing some good models out of that to serve customers even better. Really great. I'm super inspired by this. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And thank you for the time.